The wind didn't just blow up here in the peaks of the Cascades. It screamed. It was a violent thing, shoving against the side of my car as I navigated the switchbacks. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. I wasn't shaking from the cold. I was shaking because of the eviction notice in my pocket and the photo of my sister, sent by a loan shark who didn't believe in second chances. That was why I was here. The Holloway Grand Hotel, $5,000 a month, cash, enough to clear the debt, enough to buy my life back. The hotel emerged from the whiteout like a giant tombstone, gray stone, black slate, perched on a cliff edge, dropping 1,000 feet into nothingness. I parked the car. The silence was immediate and oppressive. I stepped out, the cold hitting me like a hammer. Before I could even reach the handle, the heavy oak door swung open. A man stood there. Mr. Greaves. He looked like he hadn't slept in a month. He asked if I was Thorne. When I said yes, he didn't offer a handshake. He just pulled me inside and slammed the door. Clack, 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 3 deadbolts. The lobby was suffocatingly hot. It smelled of lemon polish, old dust, and fear. Greaves told me the snow was getting bad. I told him I needed the money. He just laughed, a dry, humorless sound. He said, "We all need the money, kid. That's how the hotel finds us." He slid a sheet of paper across the reception desk. His fingernails were chewed raw. He told me the management had requirements, strict ones. I looked down at the list. Rule number 1, check the boiler every hour on the hour. Pressure must never drop below 40 psi. Rule number 2, do not enter the ballroom after midnight, and do not look at your reflection in the glass panels. Rule number 3, if the elevator stops on the 4th floor, do not get off. Close your eyes until it moves. Rule number 4, always lock the manager's office, but never go inside. I looked up at him, skeptical. "Is this a joke?" I asked. Greaves grabbed my wrist. His grip was shockingly strong. He whispered, "I laughed too. Then on the 3rd night, I saw the lady in the mirror. She wasn't reflecting me, Elias. She was standing behind my reflection." He shoved the keys into my chest and ran for the door. He undid the locks with frantic, desperate hands. "Don't let the fire go out," he said. "And for God's sake, don't look at the mirrors." Then he was gone. I locked the door behind him. I was alone, in a 60-room hotel, miles from civilization. Somewhere deep in the walls, a pipe banged. Thud, thud, thud. It sounded like someone knocking from the inside. The first 48 hours were a masterclass in boredom. No ghosts, no monsters, just silence. I followed the rules. 7:00 p.m., check the boiler. 8:00 p.m., check the boiler. I started to think Greaves was crazy. Then came the 3rd night. The blizzard was battering the walls outside. I was sitting in the lobby, fighting to keep my eyes open. The exhaustion pulled me down. I closed my eyes just for a second. I woke up with a gasp. The lobby was darker. A bulb in the chandelier had burned out. I looked at my watch. 1:17 a.m. Cold dread washed over me. Rule number 1, check the boiler every hour on the hour. I was 17 minutes late. "Damn it," I whispered. I grabbed my flashlight and sprinted for the basement stairs. The basement usually smelled of oil, but tonight it smelled like ozone, like the air after a lightning strike, and something else, something sweet and rotting. I ran to the boiler. The needle was trembling in the red zone, 20 psi. If it dropped below 15, the heat would die. I cranked the valve. The pipes screamed like a dying animal. I watched the needle climb back up. 40 psi. I exhaled. I had saved it. That's when I heard it. Thump. It came from the ceiling directly above me. Someone was walking across the marble floor of the lobby. I froze. I was locked in. There was no one else here. Then, faint but unmistakable, came a sound from the ventilation shaft. Ding! The service bell at the front desk. Ding, ding. It was impatient. I forced myself to go upstairs. I pushed the door open. The lobby was empty. I shone my light at the desk. The button of the bell was still depressed, as if a heavy, invisible finger were resting on it. As I watched, it slowly rose back up. Plink. I spun around. "Who's there?" I shouted. My light caught the glass doors of the ballroom. I saw my reflection, but standing behind my reflection, draped in shadows, was a tall figure. I blinked, and it was gone. I slumped against the wall, realizing the truth. I had missed one check, just one, and the hotel had noticed. By the 7th day, I was unraveling. Sleep came in fitful bursts. The shadows started to detach themselves from the walls. I clung to the list of rules like a Bible. It was 3 a.m. on Tuesday when fatigue finally made me careless. I was on the 3rd floor. My legs felt like lead. I looked at the elevator. Rule number 3 said the service was spotty. "Just one ride," I whispered. "I just need to get down." I stepped inside and pressed the button for the lobby. The doors closed. The car lurched. But instead of going down, we went up. My stomach dropped. The lights flickered and died. The emergency red light bathed the car in blood. The floor indicator swung past 3. Ding. It stopped on 4. Terror pierced through my exhaustion. Rule number 3. If the doors do not close, shut your eyes and count to 10. The doors slid open. I slammed my eyes shut. I pressed my back flat against the wall. I expected a scream, but there was only silence, a deep, pressurized silence. Then came the smell. Wet earth, decaying leaves, and the metallic tang of fresh blood. Slap. A sound hit the floor just outside the elevator. Slap, drag, slap, drag. Something was pulling itself across the floor toward me. It wasn't walking, it was crawling. The sounds stopped right in front of me. I felt a cold, damp breath wash over my forehead. It smelled of the grave. A gurgling sound rattled from a ruined throat. It whispered my name. Elias! Look at me, the voice whispered inside my head. I squeezed my eyes tighter. 1, I counted. 2, 3. Something wet brushed against my hand. It felt like cold, raw liver. 4, 5. A sharp claw traced a line down my chest, cutting through my shirt. 6, 7, 8. Look at me, it hissed. 9, 10. The elevator mechanism clunked. The doors slammed shut. The car plummeted downward. When I opened my eyes in the lobby, I fell out, gasping for air. I looked at my chest. A thin red line was etched into my skin. I wasn't the caretaker anymore. I was the prey. I couldn't leave. The snow had trapped me. I needed answers. I found the key to the manager's office. Rule number 4 said never to enter. But I was done with rules. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was pristine, but instead of books, the walls were lined with monitors. Dozens of old televisions buzzing with static. I walked closer. They weren't showing the hotel, they were showing me. One screen showed my old apartment. Another showed me selling my mother's locket for drugs. And the big screen in the middle, it showed the inside of an ambulance 2 years ago. I saw myself kneeling over a dying boy. I saw my hands shaking from withdrawal. I saw myself drop the equipment. I saw the boy die because I wasn't fast enough. "Turn it off!" I screamed. The screens didn't turn off. The phone on the desk rang. Ring. I picked it up. A voice spoke. It was the boy's father. "Sorry doesn't pay the debt, Elias," the voice said. "Fear salts the meat. Guilt tenderizes it." "What do you want?" I whispered. "Look at the desk," the voice commanded. I looked down. A file folder labeled Offering Yen 412. Inside was a contract. Not for a job, but a bill of sale. My loan shark hadn't sent me here to work. He had sold me. I wasn't an employee. I was the payment. The hotel wasn't haunted. It was an organism that fed on tragedy. Suddenly, the screens went black. White text appeared. "Marinating complete. Prepare for consumption." The door clicked unlock. From the hallway, I heard the elevator ding, then the slap drag of the crawler, and the clicking of high heels from the mirrors. They were coming, all of them. I grabbed a lamp and smashed the screens. Sparks showered down. Fire. I kicked the door open and ran. I pulled the fire alarm, but no bell rang. Black sludge oozed from the wall instead. The hallway stretched out endlessly. The doors rattled like chattering teeth. I ran to the lobby, but the stairs ended in an abyss. Below, in a vortex of mist, I saw the ambulance again. I heard the heart monitor beeping. I turned back. The crawler was coming over the banister. Its face was a wet mask of raw meat. It was hurting me. I ran to the only place left, the basement. I crashed into the boiler room and locked the iron door. I collapsed, laughing hysterically. "Safe!" I wheezed. But the boiler room had changed. The furnace was pulsing like a heart. The pipes were pumping blood, not water. I looked at the gauge, 0 psi. The fire was out. The furnace door creaked open. Inside, there was no fire, just darkness. And a boy. He was wearing a t-shirt with a cartoon rocket ship, the same shirt he died in. He looked at me with tired eyes. "Why did you make me wait, Elias?" he asked. "I tried to save you," I sobbed. "You were shaking," the boy said softly. "You needed the drug more than you needed me to live." The truth broke me. He was right. I was the monster. The shadows in the room stepped forward. Greaves was there, frozen blue, and others, the previous caretakers. "The debt must be paid," the boy said, holding out a hand. I looked at the iron door. The monsters outside were pounding on it. But in the furnace, with my guilt, at least I wouldn't have to run anymore. I stood up. "Okay," I whispered. I climbed inside the furnace. The boy took my hand. His grip was ice cold. "Close your eyes, Elias," he said. I closed my eyes. The iron door slammed shut, and for the first time in years, the shaking in my hands stopped. 3 months later, the spring thaw came. A young woman arrived at the hotel. She needed the money. The new manager greeted her, a tall man with pale, waxy skin. He showed her the lobby. It was spotless. In the center, there was a new statue, a man carved from gray stone, kneeling, screaming in silent agony. "That is our most recent acquisition," the manager said, smiling. "He keeps the boiler running." He turned to the young woman. "Shall we go over the rules? There are only 10 of them.